Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. Coffee Ann time on ON, AM, and FM once again on Thursday morning. It's September 5th. Thanks for joining us. My name is Joe Callahan, and at the Coffee Ann table with me, so far, just Dave. It's Dave Richards, everybody.
And you were wondering if I'd be here.
No, I really wasn't wondering, but there he is right now, because Bob Lauder could not be with us today once again. We're hoping Bob can be with us again next week. Court keeps getting in the way and that kind of stuff.
In person?
And in person.
Who did I steal that off of?
I don't know.
What old-time radio guy did I?
Charlie McCarthy?
In Poison?
I don't know.
Jimmy Durante.
Oh, okay. I can hear that now. Also joining us at the Coffee Ann table,
and gracefully so,
Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley
Good morning.
Times. How are you, Sue?
Jeez, Bob's been gone for over a month.
I know, it's been...
He certainly has.
It's freaky.
Right.
And we'll be joined a little later by John Ward, who wants to speak to Dave right now. So, and John has got a paid appearance here on the Coffee Ann program, coming your way at about 8:45 this morning, unless something's about to change that I'm not aware of. So, right now, Sue, it's you and I. So,
It works for me.
it works for me too. So, we'll get right to it. We had a note that was called in right away, and it's about the school shooting in Georgia. Georgia school shooting, two dead students, 2 dead teachers. I think 9 went to the hospital. And the suspect, who they did arrest, 14 years old. And so the question, the rhetorical question, when will gun control be a nationwide probe with results and a never-ending investigation till these available murderous weapons are put to rest for good? So, the one thing I don't want to, and yes, something needs to be done, but what? I don't know. And people say, well, the easy thing is, well, we'll just ban the guns. Well, first of all, I haven't heard. I don't know if you have, Sue. Have you heard what kind of weapon he used?
I have not.
Neither have I. And I tried looking for it, and said, well, where did he get it, and what was it?
Right.
Well, that hasn't come out yet. Okay. And the last thing I hate to see happen is let's take away rights of good people because someone bad has done something bad. Now, I don't own a gun, and I don't want to own a gun. Oh, that's just me.
That's your choice.
Okay, but I don't. If you like to go hunting,
You can own a gun.
I don't want to take away your right to go hunting. It's not. That's not me. That's not up to me to decide. So that's not the answer.
No, it's not.
Taking away the rights of law-abiding citizens is not the answer.
Not the answer.
But I don't know what is.
No.
And I heard it on our national news, and they're saying, something. This has got to stop. I'm like, well, yeah, but you never know when you're going to run up against someone that may or may not be mentally unstable, and that you're never going to stop.
No. I don't think banning guns is the correct approach. I don't think it will solve the problem because it almost I think people not supposed to do something, they're going to do it type thing.
Yes.
And they're going to find a way to get one. Right, they're going to find a way. That is, in my opinion, not the answer.
Yeah.
But again, as you say, I don't know what is.
And if people don't like to hear this, if you ban guns, then the only people that'll have guns are the bad guys. Except for the police, that kind of thing. But that's how the bad guys will find a way to get armed, to find guns, and then the rest of us are going to be we'll be in trouble for that kind of thing. So that's my just thoughts on that. And yeah, 14 years old, and then I just heard he was investigated last spring. No, 2023 they said.
Okay.
Police brought him and his father in for questioning because he was making online threats. I'm going to shoot up the school. And they brought him in to have a talking to.
At that point, when something like that starts, you have to have complete follow-through, similar to a probation officer.
That's a good idea.
get this child, and I'm not saying just therapy. I'm talking, law enforcement needs to be involved.
Kind of like a parole
And
officer.
just to, what?
Even though you
I
haven't been
mean,
charged with
maybe at that moment that child was just having some, like you said,
Blowing off
mental
steam.
health issues,
Okay.
blowing off steam, a
Mm-hmm.
little angry. So now if you meet with a parole officer in that type of an atmosphere, maybe that will help you to find another way to blow off steam, or just have somebody to talk to
Yeah.
that that they can let it release.
So it just makes you wonder, what did the police and the father and the son,
Right.
what was that conversation? And was the father able to convince the police, he's just kidding around. He's a kid being a kid. And don't worry, I've got it all under control at the house.
Well,
Okay, sir, we're going to give it back to you to take care of.
At that point, that was an error on law enforcement's part.
Well, I guess
To listen to a dad say, "Oh no, I got this,"
I got it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
no, it needs more than that.
Yep. Unfortunately, hindsight is 2020. It's
Yep.
like, yes, we should have done more a year ago.
A year, right? A year
and-
later, it's like, why? Coulda, shoulda, woulda is not going to
Yeah.
get you anywhere.
That's right. So that's I haven't heard of anyone else passing away, but just to the 2 students and 2 teachers. But the schools did most of the stuff right, from what I've read. Word went out. I think they called it, and the way the technology is now. When we had intercoms when we went to school, and that was it. But now there's no more chalkboards in schools. Everything's a smart board, is what they call it.
Yeah.
Those whiteboards that you write on with the markers.
Yeah.
But they're able to, either from the office or from somewhere, to put up messages on the board. And it came up on all the boards. It said hard lockdown. Meaning this isn't a drill. Something's happening. And so they were able, teachers locking doors and shelter away from any windows and things like that before we can get you out, and that kind of thing. And it worked out well for the most part.
Right.
I heard one student who claimed they were locked in their room by their teacher, and someone, and we're assuming it's the kid here, the shooter, banging on the door and yelling, "Let me in," because he couldn't know it was locked.
Wow.
And so after a couple of times, I can't get in. Okay, he moved on. So, all right. So yeah. So that's the latest on that, and thanks for calling that in. You can call in your comments. Maybe you completely disagree with us. 766-1240 if you'd like to weigh in on that shooting down in Georgia. All right. A Pawtucket man has been indicted. He's a correctional officer in Framingham, and he's accused 4 counts of rape and 3 counts of indecent assault and battery on a female inmate.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's like, wow. I think that's one of the things they tell you when they take the job. You can't do this kind of thing.
I would think so.
And he's also charged with 3 counts of delivering articles to prisoners in a corrections institution. Doesn't say what the articles are, but I guess it's against the law or against the rules. You can't bring stuff. You can't bring gifts
Right.
to prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
Their family members,
Even if
can
it's
do
books,
that.
magazines, or anything like that,
Yeah,
they can't.
it's just what could something could be in it, or
Right.
or there could be they've scratched out my devious mind, Sue. They've scratched out different words in like Dickens'
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
Carol. Okay, read the redacted stuff, and it's a message kind of thing.
Or the book's hollowed out.
That's right. So yeah, so you can't do that as well. So they came to his home in Pawtucket yesterday. He was arrested without incident, and he will have a court appearance later on. That has not been scheduled. So, and I'm the first to say, and we have Rich Lane come here every Friday, and he was a correctional officer, and that's just as tough a job as a police officer.
Oh, absolutely.
Dealing with inmates, and I'm sure they must be offered things all the time.
Right.
And I'm talking bribes and things like that.
Well,
Do this for me, and you'll get this kind of thing.
Right.
And
But-
come on, no one will know.
You know, it's funny because when people talk about, oh, you must love your job because, everybody's happy. It's like working in a dog pound, for example, or work, people are happy. Oh, you get to play with the dogs.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when you're working in a prison, everybody's angry. I mean, think about it. Nobody, there's no happiness going on. So how?
Well, everybody's innocent.
Of course.
Just ask them. They're all in there on trumped up charges,
Yep.
and I didn't do it, kind of thing. So, and you got to be on your, you got to be 100% aware at all the time. And yeah, maybe the prisoner is talking to you, and you talk about family and stuff like that, and they seem friendly, but they can turn.
Oh,
on a
absolutely.
dime.
Absolutely.
And if they can see a way, if I can knock you out, I can get out that door,
That's right.
and they will do that in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So, but the drawer, I guess, the upside to trying to do stuff illegally for them must be incredibly high.
Oh, yeah.
For some of them, what can you offer me, kind of thing. And I don't know what's going on here with the indecent assault and battery and the rapes. Is it something that the inmate wanted and it went too far? I don't know.
I don't know. In some cases, they say, and it all depends on the age, and I'm assuming
I don't
that's
have
not
the
the
age.
case here.
I'm assuming they're all adults.
Well, in some cases, I saw this recently in a movie where
Okay.
it was consensual, but then became unconsensual.
Or okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can
you're-
also see it starting out as consensual, but the inmate knowing that the correctional officer really shouldn't be doing this. So now I'll just say.
Well, that's kind of, yeah,
This man in a position of authority took advantage.
that's right.
So
Anytime there's
He's
a
not in
person in
trouble.
authority, it's almost like you can't say it's consensual. It's because you're in authority, so
Yes.
the person felt they had to do that.
okay, Dave, you've been typing out stuff. Any
Or he
thoughts?
might be a creep. I don't know.
Or he might be a creep.
Nobody knows.
That's
these
right.
things.
You're exactly right.
Well,
So
not
we don't know.
nobody. I'm just saying nobody in this room knows these things.
Yeah. So, okay. Doesn't say if he's out on paid leave, unpaid leave, all that fun stuff until he gets his court appearance again. So, so that's the latest. And other things going on, that a judge has approved the sale of the 6 hospitals in Massachusetts, owned by Stewart Healthcare. So that's moving on. The other 2 in Dorchester and Ayr, they're just done. So,
Wow.
so we're all set. All that's set there. Lifespan is purchasing St. Anne's Hospital in Fall River, and the Morton Hospital in Taunton. So that's got a kind of a Rhode Island spin right there. And Dorchester and Ayr, no buyers were ever found. So now it's an empty building. Now it's Memorial Hospital down in Pawtucket.
Wow.
We got a big old empty building right down there. All right, we're going to take our first break here on the Coffee and Program, and more coming your way. So please stick around, and if you have any comments or questions, give us a call in at 766-1240.
Let's take a look at the entertainment at Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. You heard us talk earlier about the Muddy Waters concert. That got canceled on us, and also Papa Chubby. What we have in place is the Dave Howard Band coming up on Friday night. The great Dave Howard was the soulful lead singer with the Room Full of Blues group we all love so much, and a fine harmonica. Ace is returning to Chan's with an all-stars band dance party featuring Tom Ferraro on the guitar, Marty Ballou on the bass, Mark Teixeira on the drums, and Woonsocket's own Paul Boulay, the Baron, on the keyboards. Then on Saturday night, we have a CD release party. Roll With Me is the name of the CD, and the guitar icon Duke Robillard is one of the hardest working musicians on the tour today. Celebrate Duke's extraordinary guitar artistry as he performs selections from his stellar recording, Roll With Me, and that's coming up on Saturday night at 8 p.m. 25 in advance, 30 at the door at Chan's, 267 Main Street, and they got great food too. Remember, Chan's.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. Joining me at the Coffee and table, Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times. Dave Richards is here as well. And Sue.
She was admiring some of the photos on the front
yeah.
page of the Call-in Times today.
All right, Sue, it is time for first questions, though, from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times.
Yes, good morning. So last week, Dave had pointed out, that we have inserts in the paper and such. And we do not only on Saturdays, but Thursdays. Thursdays have become a good insert day. Market Basket, for example, used to only do Saturday. They now do Thursday. The other thing I want to point out is now that school is in session, our sports writer that covers all the local schools is pretty excited because he enjoys writing about local athletes. So keep your eyes open for that. Our Athlete of the Week will begin in earnest very soon. And of course, I always say, if you're missing your newspaper, give us a call. You can call Christina at 767-8503, or you can call me on my cell phone at 487-4136.
All right there, Sue. Very good. Up in Massachusetts, they've had their ongoing issues with the Massachusetts State Police. Among other things, the controversy with the overtime that went on for a little while. Then we get the whole situation with the Karen Reed situation up there that involved not only the Canton Police but the Mass State Police. And so Governor Maura Healey said, that's it. We can't promote from within. I don't know what's going on with you people down there. So she went down to New Jersey. A former New Jersey State Police Lieutenant Colonel, Jeffrey Noble, has been, he's the new leader of the Massachusetts State Police. Healy says Noble has dedicated his career to public service, delivered results at the highest levels of the New Jersey State Police. Noble says the appointment is a true honor and plans to be a leader who is accessible, transparent, and committed to the highest standards of integrity. Well, okay.
What would you expect him to say? We're going to clean the house here?
We can only go up. He could have said that.
Right.
We can only go up from here. So yeah, they said that's it.
Kind of unfortunate that
it is.
And I'm not going to say I agree or disagree, but it's unfortunate that you had to do that, or you felt you had to do that.
Go outside the state?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate black eye, and
unless no one applied for it, but I highly doubt that.
No, I highly doubt that too.
Someone did that. So that's it.
Yeah, that's not likely.
Well, probably not. I'm sure someone from inside the state went on and did that. So it's like, okay. And so we brought this up yesterday. It was at the very beginning of the program, and it's sad news. The man down in Cranston that they had the standoff with the police down there, and he actually fired well, I don't know if it was directed at police officers, but he didn't hit anybody. He did hit the house across the street though, and you just don't know what his mental capacity was because he was just diagnosed, they said, with terminal cancer.
Right, and that can, totally.
That can change your point of view, Joe.
It can. It sure can. And he was making homicidal and suicidal threats, so his wife fled the house. I'm like, jeez.
Thank God she was able to do that.
Yep.
I'll tell you.
And they tried negotiating with him, but eventually, when they entered the house, he had passed away. Suicide, self-inflicted gunshot wound.
But I think if you're at that level, regardless of what news you receive, you're already in a bad place mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get that. Now it's like, that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
typically, the average person that gets the unfortunate diagnosis of cancer, that's not their thought process.
Well, right, yeah. It's just a sad situation all the way around.
It is.
Down there. We got the information from the Rhode Island State Police, and they had put all their statistics together about what took place over Labor Day weekend.
Listen to these numbers, Sue.
They're actually not bad. 25 arrested for DWI over 3 days. 8, that averages 8 a day.
Right.
That's not awful.
Okay.
I mean, you want it to be 0.
That's right. You want it 0, but no, it's not awful.
700. However, this isn't so good. 730 tickets for traffic violations.
Well, I was on Monday heading to the beach, obviously heading
Going
south,
yeah.
but going north. 3 stadies with people pulled over.
Going north.
Heading north. And that was like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So, yeah, I can believe. I did not see any as I traveled
Okay.
in my, in my path.
Okay.
So I was safe.
Rhode Island State Troopers also responded to 64 crashes. Now, they don't say if any other people arrested for DWI
Were involved in that,
the
yeah.
64 crashes. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. So 64, that's a little on the high side too.
That is.
For crashes and over a 3-day period. But the 25 for DWI, not terrible, and good to see that the state police always say we're going to be out watching for
Yeah.
under the influence drivers.
And
they
it's
were.
not just nighttime. When you're talking those type of holidays, you're going to the beach and drinking, you're going to a pool party, you're going to a cookout. So many of these incidents can occur much earlier in the day than most people would think. If you're not a drinker, you're just thinking nighttime after you leave a bar or something. No, it's an all-day thing.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't think people are drinking on the beach, I
Oh,
think
please.
you're just being naive. They're just hiding it a lot better than they used to.
Well, it's funny because I like to drink out of a glass.
Okay.
You're not supposed to have glass on the beach. Okay. I'm totally okay with that. I won't
Plastic, okay.
disrespect. I have the best plastic glass-looking glasses. I literally, every time, so I have those with me, and I have my ice, and, whether it's water, I like sparkling water myself, and whatever else is in it, but right away, you hear the announcement on the intercom, the PA, and it says,
Lady.
no, it says no glass on the beach. So, of course, I feel everybody around me looking at me. So, you know what I did?
It's plastic.
On Monday, I literally took my glass, which was in a little holder, and I put it in the sand,
Okay.
I finished my beverage, dumped out the ice, and then tapped the glass on my chair to knock the sand off. So everybody knew it wasn't glass because it would have broken. But I tell the announcer all the time, I'm like, dude, I feel like you're talking directly at me.
Yeah.
It is plastic. He's like, I know, you those things are awesome. You've been using them for years, and I still have them.
So, well, you want to look elegant with your drink, right?
Yeah, I just like a glass.
Okay, then, well, that's fine. All right, other things going on. You remember
Dave's speechless on now.
know,
He
no.
can't even say anything,
what you're doing is perfectly
which
legal.
is rare.
Well, it's okay. No, I don't like drinking out of cans. I did for many years because it was necessary and became
Yeah.
popular and
Right.
stuff. But I don't like drinking out of cans.
No.
Now, if I have a chance to,
Bottles are better.
well, I don't drink an awful lot of soda anymore. I used to drink a lot of it, but I don't drink a lot of soda anymore. But occasionally, I'll be out and somebody, it might be a situation and maybe a beer be in order. But even my favorite brand, if it's not available in draft or a bottle, I'll pass it up. Because I don't want to drink out of the cans because it just doesn't
Gives you a
taste the
different
same.
taste.
Yeah,
and
there's
it's
a
always
different
more
taste.
highly carbonated in a can than it is, and in carbonation I don't go for a lot of carbonation.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot. Some people say
And then
that
you're
it,
burping for the next hour after that.
there was something on the radio the other day. They were talking about getting carbonation out of like a Truly, because they don't like the carbonation. They like the flavor, but they don't like the carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
We gotta shake it up, right?
yeah, something
Stand
about
back.
shake it up and so on and so forth to get rid of the carbonation. I'm thinking just drink something else.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just my opinion.
Right.
Well, okay then.
But maybe you want to be seen drinking that Truly stuff.
All right, things could always be worse. I don't know what's going on in Cranston with their politics. Now there's a lawsuit
Oh, it's gonna
Investigation
be
into a
it's gonna be
lawsuit.
like Blackstone over there.
against Cranston Mayor Ken Hopkins. Now he's saying he took a vintage sports car without permission or buying it.
They've already hashed that out in the media.
Yeah. Cranston property owner David Broccoli, just like the vegetable, filed a suit last Thursday. Hopkins took the car in 2021, and then the campaign engaged in harassment against him. And the mayor says, nope, he's got it all wrong. Broccoli's looking for special treatment and paying delinquent taxes. So it sounds like, oh, you owe the city money, I'm taking your car. Until you pay it.
Nah, I didn't read it that way.
That's the way I'm
But then
looking
again,
at it.
I've heard the explanation before. They're not repeating the explanation properly here.
All right.
But it was, yeah, the guy owes taxes to the city.
Yep.
And he's figuring, because of the disagreement they had over the car, which was a car that, I understand, the mayor wanted to buy, took it on a test drive or something like that, and then didn't buy it. So now the guy's sore, and he's got, I'm going to take care of you. So, you can get out of this by fixing my taxes. This is the story that was presented to us some months ago. And now no political competitor worth their salt is going to let a juicy tidbit like
Oh, no.
that go by without trying to exacerbate the situation.
To make it
this
something
should be
else.
there should be an investigation, knowing that no investigation that would be conducted starting now will be finished in time to save this guy's butt in the election booth.
So that's what Barbara Ann Fenton Fung is doing.
That would appear to be based on the explanation that I got the last time, presuming it's right and truthful. We don't know.
So where's the car now?
I was just
And
gonna
who
say
has-
that.
And who has it? Where's the car now?
The rightful owner has it.
Has it? It's back with him.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And it was
And
something that
does he still owe taxes to the city of Cranston?
I would imagine, yes,
Okay.
according to what I understand from the story. And that it was one of those things, oh, yeah, you can keep that for a couple of days, drive it around a little
around, see
bit.
what you
Yeah,
think.
you're going to love that car. And no, I didn't love it. And so, and thank you very much, but you can't get away from somebody like that. Was the way it was presented by the mayor's campaign.
Okay. Well, fun.
Got his hooks in me,
Down
and
there.
now he's
Listen
trying
to
to
him.
rub my
Fun.
nose in something that I didn't, I'm not responsible for.
Bob, fun. No, it's fung.
Thanks, Sue.
Oh, I see. How clever you are. You put a G on that, huh?
We're going to take a break here on Coffee In. So, Sue, it's time for your second message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times, please.
Oh, darn it. Okay, early.
Well, if you got a hole in it, you have to darn it.
Right? So, anyway, again, we are in the process of doing the Vote for Me for your favorite business. If you go on to our website at www.woonsocketcall.com, you will see a list of names under each category. For example, all-around restaurant, whatever the names are there, I'm not going to name them because I might leave one out. You pick the one you think is the best all-around restaurant. After those the top 5 that are in there now will then be narrowed down to 3, so we'll have the first, second, and third place winners. That continues on until September 19th. We also have our fall home and garden section coming up. If anybody is interested in participating in that, by all means, give me a call. You can call my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
Thanks, Sue. Right now, time for the forecast, which is being brought to you by Progressive Insurance.
Sunny skies today with a high of 78 and a calm wind. Tonight, increasingly cloudy, overnight low of 55. Friday's weather, partly sunny with a high of 76. Saturday, sunshine and 75. Sunday, sunshine and 74. Monday, sunshine and 75. Tuesday, sunshine and 78. And on Wednesday, sunshine and 79 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, where we do have sunny skies and 64 degrees.
Would you like me to read this?
Yes, please, Dave.
Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. This was a Progressive Commercial.
Thanks, Dave.
Hi, my name is Brad Azinski, and I currently live in Washington State. Why does a man who lives 3,000 miles away from Woonsocket care about the mayor's race? Because one of the men seeking that job is my uncle, John Ward. Let me tell you about John Ward, not the finance director or city councilman, but the man, and how he changed the course of my life. As a teen, I started getting into serious trouble at school and with the law. I was expelled from Cumberland High School and soon found myself in the DCYF system, but in March of '94, my Uncle John and Aunt Kathy stepped up and took me into their home, despite knowing their 2 sons would be exposed to their older cousin. John and Kathy helped me get back on track by ensuring I was enrolled at Woonsocket High School, staying out of trouble, and landing my first job washing dishes at Christopher's Restaurant. I'm a proud class of 1996 WHS grad and went on to earn a computer engineering degree. I've since had an extraordinary career where I've traveled the world living in 3 countries outside the US and rose into the executive ranks of Intel and now Samsung. I'm blessed with an incredible career and a family of a wife and 4 children, none of which would have happened without John. He taught me the value of education, hard work, and resiliency. Most importantly, he showed me the value of integrity and doing the right thing. John came into my troubled life and turned me around. Now he looks forward to turning around the city that I call my hometown and all of you call home. I know he can do it because I lived it. My uncle saw that I could do better. Woonsocket can do better too. Please elect John Ward for mayor.
Paid for by friends of John Ward.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on my morning sports reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by attorney Bob Lauder. Bob can not be with us this week. Hopefully Bob can join us next week here on the Coffee and program.
When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters. And Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice.
It is Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Sue Tessier-McKenzie. And we'll be joined by John Ward coming up in about 10 minutes here on ON Coffee In program. All right. Well, the runaway cows is rampant in Massachusetts. We had the bull a few weeks ago that was running along 495,
Yep.
and now we have a cow in East Bridgewater.
Oh, for God's sake.
Just wandering around eating the grass. Runaway cow back in custody, though. Police say they corralled the cow after escape from a farm. While it was free, the cow caused minor traffic jams when it got too close to the road, and authorities said some lawns sustained some minor damage.
Used
I
to
don't know-
be.
I don't know if that's from the cow or from cars going up on,
Right.
on the lawn trying to get around the cow.
It used a story like that used to be local pub gossip, and now it's on the national wire.
Yeah.
So I mean, I submit to you, that's just the way it's getting to be, folks.
That's because social media makes it huge. And we had a lot of things
Oh,
on
sure.
world news lately.
Nothing wrong with social media.
I didn't
ma'am.
say there was anything wrong
What's
with it.
wrong is how people consume it and have no self-restraint.
Right, but that's the point. Back to social media. That's what happens. People are
It's like
doing
saying,
it.
there's nothing wrong with Walmart. It's the people who shop at Walmart and neglect their local stores that are responsible for the change.
Well, I don't think there are enough local small businesses that sell some of the items from Walmart. I think Walmart is a necessity, but I also think, like my son, which is, he's 30 years old, and he would rather go small business any day of the week.
Good.
And I love that about him. He'll call me and say, "Hey, I need X. Do you know anybody that sells that?" It's like, "No, bud, you have to go to Walmart." And it's just one of those circumstances. Walmart's not a bad place. You just want to start small.
Alrighty, other things going on. Since it's been the start of the school year on high school, public schools, and on college campuses, a lot of colleges are doing this. One of them is Emerson College. If you want to do protesting on our campus, you got a small little area. You can only do it like right here. We're not letting you take over the entire
Nope.
the entire place. That's done. So Emerson College of Boston has put new restrictions on protesting in place for students arriving for the fall semester. One key restriction is to ban protest in Boylston Place Alley, which is where over 100 people were arrested during a pro-Palestinian encampment in April. College says civil disobedience is contrary to Emerson policy and not protected by the First Amendment. I don't know if that's correct. Emerson plans to offer indoor spaces where demonstrations can be held. Not as many people will see you if you're indoors.
Right.
I don't know if the kids are gonna like that. So, but anyway, I don't know where is it written on Emerson's Emerson College where it says civil disobedience is contrary to what we want to do.
You have
Is-
to check
is
that.
that- is
You have
that
to check
written down somewhere?
that handbook. You have to check the handbook.
I don't know if colleges put out handbooks
They used
like
to.
high schools do. All right.
Well, who knows?
I don't know, but they did this. Columbia University in New York said, okay, if you're gonna protest, you got to go over there, and that's it. We're not
Well,
having, you don't get the wild craziness. that
You know
we had
what?
last
We
spring.
had that whole conversation last time. At the end of the day, you have 100 people. 10 of them are protesting. The other 90 want to just do their education. So you can't, you have to go with, there has to be something for those 10, but the other 90 want to go to school.
Yeah.
So I agree with the restricting an area. You're still allowing them, but you got to restrict. Don't be disturbing the kids that want to just continue their education.
Well, one of the funniest things I saw, this is last spring's protests. The people that just want to be there just because I just want to be part of the protest. Do you know what it's about? No.
No.
And the big Hamas chant is it from the river to the sea or from the sea to the river?
Don't know.
Okay, it's one of those.
Okay.
And they would ask the students, "What sea and what river are you chanting about?" And it's just the deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know. Then why are you here? They don't have a good reason.
No, a lot
Other
of them
than,
don't.
"Oh,
You're
it's
right.
just- we're causing mayhem. That's all we want to really do. Kind of thing. So you really don't know why you're here, huh? And you don't know what you're protesting, huh? No. Great. All right. So the bad news keeps falling in for the CEO of bankrupt Steward Healthcare. The big stories came out while Steward was going through all their efforts. He's over in France watching the equestrian with his daughter at the Olympics. I said, that's so funny.
Right.
And I shouldn't be laughing because I'm a member of Steward Healthcare. But anyway, the CEO is now refusing a subpoena to testify before Congress about the company's demise. How can you refuse a subpoena? I thought that was the whole point of the subpoena.
Yeah.
Here, this is to make you testify. You can't say no thank you. Ralph De La Torre says he risks running afoul of a federal order prohibiting from discussing the mediation efforts and the company's bankruptcy proceedings. The Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee has scheduled a hearing for September 12th. That's coming up quickly. That's next week.
Yeah.
To explore how management decisions at Steward have impacted patient care. And he doesn't want to go and answer questions. I guess the easiest thing would be just go to the thing, go to the hearing, have your lawyer sitting right next to you, and as soon as the first question is asked, say, I take the fifth.
Right.
Do you plan on taking the fifth for every question? Yes, I do. Okay. Meeting's over.
Right. What do you do?
What else do we do now? But refusing a subpoena, that's just going to get you in more trouble.
One would think.
I would think so. See, no one asks us these things, Sue. They should be coming to us.
I know. We just,
We'll give them sound advice.
We'll be honest.
Well, maybe they don't want that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Back in Rhode Island, another story. The Rhode Island Crime Lab is on hold with their gun forensics.
Oh, did I miss De La Torre?
Yeah, do you want to talk about De La Torre?
Well, it's only they want him to talk,
right?
And he's under a gag order.
Is that what he said?
He has a subpoena to testify before a congressional committee.
Right. And he doesn't want to.
And he's under a federal gag order that he can't discuss the bankruptcy in public. So, I mean,
they're not going to talk. They don't
so
want
he looked at them and said, "Make up your mind.
Which one do you want?"
Well,
they don't want to talk about the. They don't want to talk about the bankruptcy, at least according to our story here. They want to talk about how management decisions at Steward impacted patient care. It's got nothing to do with finances. It may get to that.
Sure.
Which is now where you plead the fifth when it goes to that.
Well, that's right.
Well, yeah, I know, but you can't say you're under a gag order. You can't discuss it.
Well, can you just
the
say that?
bankruptcy came about because of the way they did patient
decisions.
care and what they did with the money afterwards.
So who's right?
So he's right. Make up your mind.
Who
talk to my lawyers, and let's I'll answer any question, but I can't answer the questions you told me I can't answer.
Did the bankruptcy judge put the gag order on him?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they should talk to the judge
and
lift the gag order.
Right. This guy may be the creep we all imagine him to be, or maybe not.
Maybe not.
But the fact is, you have a citizen who you say you can't talk about this, and then you have Congress saying, come in and talk about this.
All right, yeah. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. We're going to bring John Ward in. John is here, right? Mm-hmm. Very good. And we'll get to John and his run for mayor. When we come back, this portion of Coffee has been sponsored by attorney Bob Lauder.
When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters. And Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. Seasonal allergies got you down? The Honey Shop has a solution. Breathe. It's the all-natural cold and allergy remedy made right here in Woonsocket. Or perhaps you have sleep problems, arthritis, or some other ailment that you're looking for a natural solution. The Honey Shop is also starting classes again. So, if you're looking to learn something new, stop by 1300 Park Avenue in Woonsocket near Park Square, or give them a call at 401-766-1488. The Honey Shop.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Coffee In on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Sue
entirely
Tessier
welcome.
McKenzie, and we're being joined by John Ward. This portion of Coffee In is sponsored by John Ward for Mayor,
No,
paid for
Friends-
by
Friends of John Ward. Right,
Ward.
there you
So,
go.
John, how are you?
I am
you-
well.
how you
How are
been?
you? Good
Okay,
morning,
good.
everybody. Good morning.
How's the campaign?
The campaign is going well.
Excellent.
We're
Next Tuesday's the big day,
next
you know.
Tuesday's the big day, and if you're
Big
interested,
milestone.
and want to come see how we did on Tuesday night, then come on down to the Broster House. We'll be hanging around there.
At your
And,
traditional hangout
and
there
just
at
checking out the
election night.
results and see what's going on so far. And of course, it is only the primary, but to me, it's not so much only the primary. It's actually a meaningful measurement of how our messaging is going.
Okay.
And whether or not people are hearing what we have to say. And to me, that's important. And speaking with my family, which also is my campaign staff,
It's always been that with the wards, eh?
always thought that the primary was an important thing to do well in. I mean, get your message out, talk to people, get them on your side, and have them understand the issues. And so we've been doing that. And I'm hoping that the message has been delivered and received. Everybody I talk to as I go door to door, my reception has been very, very good. Places I go, we're visiting with the seniors at their homes at Kennedy Manor and Parkview already. We'll be going to Crapo Court and Waterview Apartments to visit with them, and the reception there has been excellent. So it's I'm optimistic about how things are going.
Good.
Of course, I'm always being the conservative side. I tend to be cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. Okay.
that's right. So what are the issues you allude to?
Well, I think the issues are so much, oftentimes it's about managerial experience, specifically in government, because we've had so much turmoil and so much secrecy and so many things that were going wrong with personnel, with audits, with assessments, and with various operational things that it's not really, I think it's one of those rare times where you simply need to get somebody in there that knows how those things should work, which I have learned over 30 years, including 16 in the town of Lincoln as a finance director. But my role as finance director also involved the oversight of the tax assessor's office and the collector and the purchasing agent and all of the accounting function as well. So it wasn't just the numbers thing, it was process, it was policy, it was procedures and making sure they were adhered to. We had some hiccups along the way like anyone else, and if you wanted to pick apart certain things, we had somebody who stole some cash through the municipal court system, and it was done a little bit at a time, and it finally caught up with the analysis where it was like, hey, something's wrong here. But it's how we dealt with it. We analyzed it. We collected all the information. We questioned the employee, realizing we had a problem. We notified the town administrator. We did a complete analysis over 10 years of all of the activity in those accounts. We, after collecting it, we brought in the audit company to do some audit of it to make sure we had our ducks in a row, notified the state police, and the criminal prosecution proceeded, and the termination happened. And the important thing is the termination happened because we had clear evidence of improper activity. And so that, I think, is one of the differences here, where the council president became the mayor after the former mayor left over this land deal, and immediately took to terminate the finance director, but kept the planning director, who the report has shown was more than simply a victim of threat of loss of job, but was really actively working to both hide the information from various parties, but at the same time was answering questions in a way that would indicate that his staff was doing things. And in fact, when they were questioned, they said they were never asked to do these things. So he was being less than honest with the council and with the investigation. So he had been kept on and praised as being such a great person, and because of that, the mayor didn't realize that he had a person with qualifications to do planning, that had a graduate degree in community planning, and could have stepped into those shoes. And so here we are. We spent 8 months, 9 months going through this process, only to find out that the planning director has to go. It just doesn't work. And now they're allowing him the possibility of getting benefits that he may not be entitled to based on how he's quote unquote retired. So there's managerial oversight that I think is lacking, for a lack of experience. You know, overseeing laborers doing work in a specific field is one thing. Working within development of policies and procedures within a government organization and holding it to the highest levels of integrity, knowing what the highest levels of integrity are, I think are important, and an important difference between the two of us. We both have experience, but we have experience in very different things.
Let's talk about experience now. Your experience goes back a long, long way in service to the city of Woonsocket. I'm thinking of Woonsocket School Committee.
Yes.
And in another generation, the Woonsocket School Committee was a large part of some of the problems that you even experienced when you left the school committee after many years, including being chairman, and moved on to the city council, and then was there for many years, and you ended up being the council president that was being faced with problems on the school committee that you didn't have when you were on the school committee, but when you left, developed.
Yes.
And so all of those things, but we're talking about experience, both good and bad, and people learn from bad experiences.
And that's important. It is good and bad, and there have been things that,
So you know what to do and what not to do.
Hey, some people associated with the campaign and friends of mine keep saying, watch out for the negative ads, watch out for the negative ads, and, the old black and white photos and all these terrible things like, somehow blaming me for the problems the school committee had back then that caused us to
But
have
you
to
weren't
go to
on
the
the
budget
school
commission.
committee,
But
right.
I wasn't on the school committee. There's a whole series of things you could pick up and say, okay, John Ward was there when it happened, but that doesn't mean John Ward caused it. And frankly, my time in my attempt at public service actually goes back to the 80s, because I was a candidate for constitutional convention.
Right.
Which I hope the people will support this time. Because
Really?
It's,
I'd love to debate you on that sometime.
I'll be happy to, but it's, it seems like the people with the money, the people with the money on one side complain about the risk of having a constitutional convention because of the people with the money on the other side. So they're trying to buy out the vote to say no before the other people can buy out the vote to say we want these things. And it's really a clash of well-funded special interest groups having nothing to do with the people. Having nothing to do with the people.
I would not disagree with you on that point.
I want the people to assert their right to convene a convention and make decisions for themselves. Because frankly, I have faith in voters. And it's a difficult thing for voters because you always have moneyed special interests throwing money at advertisements. All you have to do is watch how it was presented when they were fighting against trying to put this on the ballot again and putting it on the ballot and trying to now get people to say no. Watch the money that goes flying around. That's the kind of government that people sort of cringe when they see.
Well, that's where we disagree. Now, we don't disagree on the original fact that you came up, but and I'll be very brief about this. But where we disagree is you have a wonderful faith in the electorate.
I do.
And I've been watching them get fooled by crooked people for a while, and I'm just a little... I have a great and absolutely undenied faith in the Constitution of the United States of America. But when you start changing it, and special interests are behind the change, that really gives me pause, and it gives me concern. It doesn't mean that good things can't happen. It doesn't mean that it isn't necessary. But now we're talking about the Constitution of the state.
Yes.
And I have the same feelings there.
And it goes to the same issues associated with our local charter.
But you have a
which we'll
faith that the
some
good things
questions.
will happen.
I do, and if they don't, then the people who choose what may not be in the best interest because it's been influenced by those with lots of money may regret it. And I think there's circumstances we're seeing currently. While we were removing a mayor, at that same time, she was still operating the plan to hide the land purchase from the council.
Right.
She was hiding it from the people she was running with. She was hiding it from the people that got elected with her. And a whole group of council people who recognized the problem, brought it to the attention of everybody, were removed from office because they were fooled by the
Yeah. Well, that's history.
assertions of the former mayor. It is histories, and we do want to move away from
And
that.
you always
but
have to remember history, or you'll repeat it.
You'll be
that's for sure.
doomed to repeat it.
But I do want to
but-
hear you talk about what you
Well,
see for the
again,
future.
Again, I have to remember that we should learn from the history and correct those things that may still exist, and they do. Pervasively, because there was an indoctrination that went on over the course of 10 years that needs to be undone, and it can only be undone with policies and good procedures that are written down and that are enforced. And we need to have conversation, because the more quickly we can actually solve some of these problems internally inside City Hall, the better job we can do working with outside partners to get investors, to get federal and state government agencies that have funds and plans to work on housing issues, to work on business issues, to work on transportation issues, all of those issues. And if you bog down and we got to get the audit done, and you bog down and we got to get the assessments done, as a mayor, it doesn't free you up the time to do the things you really should be doing. And community partners, whoever they are, the social service agencies and other people in the community, and just the public, in order to talk about plans for the future and making plans and listening to people and getting feedback from people about things that will affect them in the future. Well, part of that is fixing the history and fixing the systemic problems. And the more quickly you can do that, the better off you'll be.
All right, Sue, I want to let you in on this.
No,
as well. Do you have any questions for
No,
John?
no, not at this time.
Give me
I
it.
chose to sit back because it's his paid advertisement, so I am just
Come on, give
listening
me a
intently.
tough question.
All right, this may be tough or maybe easy. I don't know, because it just occurred to me yesterday because I was driving down Hamlin Avenue and I was heading towards where the middle schools are,
Yes.
and I see that smokestack behind Consumers
Yes.
Propane. I said, "Boy, that's been there such a long time. Why hasn't it been knocked down?" And John, can't the city take care of that?
No.
Why
It's
not?
on
No, it's
private property.
Oh, oh, that's an easy answer.
Boom, done.
And it's an asset. It's an asset. Should there be a requirement for an elevated structure for antennas,
Yeah.
with
That's-
whomever
I
occupies
think that's
that
why it was
site.
kept, was
Yeah.
the
It is
possibility
a
of antennas.
possibility.
There
It
are
is
some up there.
It is so soundly
Oh,
built.
yeah.
It is
Oh.
so soundly built and in such good condition
Yes.
that it could afford a high position for radio antennas.
I suspect that
Okay.
when there was discussion some time ago for public safety complex located there, there may have been a thought of using it for antenna.
Okay.
But
Sue says there's
that's
some already-
quiet
Yeah,
money.
I've
It's
seen
not
them up
privately
there.
owned.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that-
I do have a question because when you mentioned that tower, something popped into my head. I see an awful lot on the stink about literal stink
The stink about the
about
stink.
the stink. Everybody's always complaining about the incinerator. and-
Yes, well, that is a very
The
complex.
incinerator's gone.
That's a
You know,
very.
well, I know. I'm just
No,
using a
she's
word.
thinking about the sewage incinerator.
sewage, that's what I'm talking
The
about.
wastewater treatment plant, and then the dewatering equipment, and then the sewage incineration that goes on at Centigro, and that is a very complicated process. We're in the process of dealing with a lawsuit by the Attorney General's office over waste that went into the river. The treatment plant is running very well. The dewatering equipment has been put back in and is capable of doing its job, but we're talking now, well, the city is negotiating between Centigro and Jacobs Engineering to turn that into a single contract operation for the entire work. And there will have to be significant upgrades done to the incinerator, so we'll have to be borrowing money to do that and factoring the cost of that into the pricing for outside communities to do their incineration. And we're talking about changing the way in which that works, where we're not doing so much dewatering for them because it can overburden and overwhelm the process in our sewage treatment facility. So we're going to look to accepting only solid cake to incinerate for them if they want to, and the cost of the upgrades to the facility will be borne by all of the users of the facility. So that has to be done. It's not likely to be something that can happen in 2 years, but it must be moved along and continue to move along aggressively so that we can maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road have phased in that conversion. And the elimination of that wet material coming in and the trucks that carry it and the exposure to the air is a large contributor to those days where the smell is so bad. And so that movement to just using the dry material for incineration would eliminate a lot of that odor problem.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. The 15 minutes goes by very quickly.
It does.
So just because of that, John, we're going to have you here tomorrow to continue this. You'll get another 15 minutes tomorrow. But this portion of Coffee has been sponsored by the Friends of John Ward. Any last thing you want to say?
Remember, as I said, I think it's important to get the message out that we want to change the way we do business here in the city for the next 2 years at least, and I'll be able to come in and start doing some of the things I've done in the last 30 years, and I hope people will come out and vote on Tuesday the 10th so that we can get that message out there that we want to make change.
Very good. All right, John, we'll see you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow.
Sue, thanks for coming in.
I would like to take an opportunity to offer my deepest condolences to Bob, Nancy, and Matt Phillips on the loss of Timothy. I'm without words.
Very good. Thanks, Sue. And Dave, thanks for sticking around today.
Been a very interesting show, Joe. Thank you.
Very good. And stay tuned now. Have yourself a great day. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew with Do Your Members at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
Looking back on the Labor Day weekend, it was a busy one for the Rhode Island State Police. Troopers were out in force, and they arrested 25 people for DUI. They issued 730 tickets for traffic violations, too, and responded to 64 car crashes over the past Labor Day holiday weekend. And news from Mass